Yes, thank you for passing spending the next 3 hours with me here. I don't know, who knows October CMS?
I heard.
Okay. Heard, never used?
Used a little bit.
Okay, so I hope I will learn new things, maybe. We'll see.
I was at version 1, not at version
okay.
3.
So, yeah, I have plenty of room. About me, quickly, my name is Jan. Actually, I'm a human resource manager in Bilbien. It's a small company. We have 35 employees. We make surface treatments. I don't know if you know what this is. It is plating, gold plating. We work for watchmakers, for example. We put gold on the pieces in the watches. So as you can see, I'm not a programmer. That's very challenging for me to be here tonight in front of you because you are real programmers, and I like to describe myself as a null stack developer, maybe. So. I live in La Neuville. This is the French part of the canton Bern, and there we speak French. I don't know, who speaks French here? Ooh, okay. Who understands a little bit French? Yeah, better. Who speaks Swiss German? Yeah, that's better. And who speaks Laravel, or who uses Laravel? Yeah, okay. Right, I'm on the right place here, I guess. So, about October CMS, as you know, it's a CMS based on Laravel. The version of Laravel is 9.52. There's a plan to put the version 10 in a few months. The first release a few years ago now, and now we use version 3.3.12. We received the 12th version today, so each week we receive a new minor version. They are very active people. The license, it was a few years ago, MIT license. Now it's a proprietary software model. There was lots of noise about it because the project was open source a few years ago. 2021, I guess, and it costs something. It costs $9 per project for a year, or you can get a bronze. You can become bronze partner, and you pay $150. As I said, there is an open source project. It's called the Winter CMS. Very funny, October and winter. So they can be two other frogs projects, spring and summer. Okay. Some random stats we know, maybe this. October CMS, and the same as Statamic, is used by less than 1% of all the CMS, all the websites. The rest is WordPress. That's sad because, okay, you know these memes probably. I'm not a big fan of WordPress. You know the problem of WordPress, maybe. Because it's the most used CMS, it also is the most subject of attacks. That's logic. It's easy to install, so the guy who installs it, he forgets that he has somewhere an install. So he forgets to update it. And again, security updates. In my point of view, but because maybe I'm not a programmer or not very skilled in computer things, I think it's complex to use for the end user. You have no problem because you are programmers, but you make a project for your clients, your customers, and they are supposed to enter the text. This would be nice if it works like that. And as a result, the information is not up to date or often up to date because people know, oh, it's complicated. I don't want to log in. I don't know the way how to go there. I've forgotten the password, and so that's why we should prefer other CMS more friendly, like Statamic or October CMS, or just bare Laravel if you make your own project. So, but back to October, the concept features. As you know, it's a flat file system for the front-end templating, and also the plugin configuration. They come in, they are stored in the flat file. The template engine is Twig. You know Blade. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you ever worked with Twig? Yep. You know a little bit. Okay. The main files, of course, are PHP, YAML file, and HTML. It includes an Ajax framework for the front end and for the back end. And the database, this is standard, I suppose, MariaDB, MySQL, and SQLite. The concepts, it can be installed either by Composer, this is the standard way, the preferred one, or if you have a special hosting company that doesn't allow maybe CLI access, though you can use a wizard tool. There is a community extensions on the marketplace. I will try to show you this quickly. There's a marketplace. You find the plugins here, and you can browse through the plugins. And let's say if I want to take this one, and also you have themes here, that's the same approach. And if you want to use this builder plugin, for example, in my project, I just can click this Add to my project, and here I will look, let's say, to this one, to Kino, and add to the selected project, and automatically it will sync in my projects. So this is how it works. You see, it's a small eco system, maybe. The main elements of October CMS, it's this lovely backend. I love really this backend. I've discovered Statamic, it's nice too. One of the main thing is the plugins. We saw a list of plugins. Of course, you can make your own plugins, that's the goal. In the plugins, you find the models, controllers, migration seeds, and everything you use. That comes from the Laravel world, actually, yes. Helpers, classes, themes. Of course, you need a theme for the front end. You can put many themes if you want. Layouts, pages, partials, assets. I remember you showed us a few months ago a presentation where you put the whole project online in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Without the SSL problem, it would be okay. So the components and widgets are just reusable code. You can put either in the backend for the components or the components for the front end and widgets in the backend. So you can put them in every theme you want, for example. That's re-exportable and reusable code. Voilà. And of course, storage, where you use cached files, uploaded files, and so on. It's very interesting because the October it's events driven. It means you can hook into the core, or you can adapt, you can change other plugins from other people maybe, and this is very interesting. You have listeners too. You can create new data sets. You can create new methods. You can extend the other plugins. The testing is possible with PHP unit. I offer a beer pack to the one who can make me the installation of Pest on October CMS. I would like to, because I'd like to use Pest, but for a moment I didn't had success to achieve this. It can be used, of course, as a headless CMS. And you retrieve your favorite PHP artisan commands, the queues, router, scheduler, and so on. So, you are not lost when you use such a project. Maybe quickly the directory structure. We have the modules where we have the core files of the CMS, the plugins and the themes. The folder plugins receives all your plugins, your different plugins, the one you take from the marketplace, the one you use from you install with Composer, for example, and it's I guess the main part of October, and the theme, of course, this is flat file, And all these three things, they communicate each other. That's why I say, okay, this is the main structure in October. Then, okay, of course, you have a config folder. It's exactly the same as Laravel. We have an app PHP file, a database, a mailer. You have an app folder, a bootstrap folder, and a test folder, and yeah, that's it. Not very complicated. The benefits, for me, it's fast to build something. You have a builder plugin. This is graphical. If you don't know how to code, like me, it's very pleasant, it's very useful, but it's also very fast. There is a new concept now. It's called Tailor. Tailor is like a blueprint of your data, and you write files, a YAML file, and then you make the migration. It automatically creates, as I said, the migration, the models, controllers, and everything is then published on the front end. Can be used on the front end, and you have the menu in the back end. That's very, very, very powerful. Maybe next time for a talk about Tailor. Of course, many tasks can be achieved in CLI as Laravel, and in my opinion, it's very well documented. If I show you, for example, here some the documentation, we can go, for example, the form field, everything very, very lots of text, and the file attachments, the databases, and by the way, this is really very close from Laravel. So nothing new for you. The core team is very, very active. I already said that there are two for the moment, and they respond if you have inquiries, problems. They are involved. There is a Discord channel too, or you can write them directly. This is a joke, but in my opinion, it's like a robust bundle with these functionalities. So Laravel, of course, Nova, and maybe Breeze or Jetstream. You have all this in one package, in one bundle, and this is very interesting. It's not for the big project, but for the mid-sized project, it's excellent. And again, you can adapt it for your customer in the backend. Not lots of things like WordPress where there are, I don't know where I am, I'm lost maybe, and you focus really on what your customer need. I made some installation for customers. I never had to show them how it works in the backend. It's so easy. It's how you say? Self-explanatory. Thank you. Yes. No long learning time. This is important too. Best for business or process-oriented application. So, okay. 2.5 hours. Okay. But when I was younger, I had a side job. I worked in this place. This is a movie theater cabin, a booth. I learned watching. I showed the people the movies, old movies. You know, the one on the pellicule. How you say this? Rolls. Yes, and I like movies very much. This was the old theater. Now it was made brand new. This is the new cabin with more friendly installation, digital cinema. So if you agree, we will try to make a small application with the October CMS. We will create Kino. Kino means cinema, theater in German. And we'll try to make this together. So the result, is it okay? Do you have questions so far? No. No. This would be the result, maybe. We won't have time because I have to work tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I have to go back to my business. But you know this team, Ruslan used the same for the last presentations. And yeah, we have movies, maybe Top Gun here. We have time, we have genres, movie genres, the Euros. And we have a login interface for maybe your visitors. They can log. They can say, okay, I want to show this one maybe. And this is the front end. And by the way, if you go to this URL, you will be able to find this information here. You will be able to download this presentation if you want, or to access the GitHub plugin repo on Git, and so on, the team too. So, okay. Let's try now to go to the backend to show you what's hidden in the backend. This is a typical October CMS backend. You have a dashboard, okay, where you can welcome your clients with data, graphs, an editor. This is the front-end editor, and we have the files, we have the PowerShells here, we have the layouts, and we have the text here. We can directly edit it here if we want. Of course, we won't because it's messy. So we use another editor. We have the media where we put files, usable, reusable files. We have a builder. I will explain this later. We have my application. This is a menu. We have, for example, first movies. And you see, for example, here the genres. We can add actors, for example. We could have WYSIWYG. We can add here medias, non-reusable medias. Very easy. You take them, you put them, and you forget them. So again, the customer doesn't spend lots of time to use his computer. We have actor or actors, genres, statuses, and so on. And by the way, we can reorder also this if you want. And this is all included. And what I like is you can create filters very easy. For example, we have genres filter. We want to go through the actions movies only. And you see now we have not only the action movies. Now we can look for example, this one. And you have really a full text search at your disposal. And if you want to clear this, you can look through the actors and so on. Okay, this is the backend. We also have, I downloaded a front-end plugin for the users, so for the visitors, for example. And this is the typical backend settings page where you can manage your teams, where you can, for example, make the updates, the administrators. This is also important here. And what I like, if you have a role, maybe I have an employee role, I can say, what can this guy do? What can this role do? And okay, I choose Kino, for example. And if you want to watch how does it view, you can launch a view as a role. And now you see, okay, this guy who has this role would see that. So it's very convenient to check if everything is okay. This is, but I guess this is standard for a CMS too, but it's very useful. And by the way, if you create a new, okay, maybe not. It should. It should. Let's say Jan Boesch can connect. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So, and if I say, okay, this is an employee role, for example, what is very interesting is you can override the roles you received from its particular role. So let's say, for example, he's an employee, so he should receive all these roles, but I can say no. I don't want him to be able to manage the plugin settings, for example. So I put red. And this specific guy won't have access. You can really fine-tune maybe a little bit the accesses. This is very useful. So, okay. Okay, so far? As you can see, this is not a Mac, not an Apple device. This is a Windows. Maybe the first Windows computer here, I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually the first.
Okay, so, and by the way, this is my first talk I make in front of people like you, in IT people. That's very challenging, as I said. So, Now I will, if I can, I will just stop this because I need this here, but it doesn't. Ah, yes, it's here. I will create a new project for my computer, a local project. I use Laravel. I don't know if some uses it. I will simply create a blank project. I will call it Kino. Can you read it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and now we'll see if it works. Take some time. And the rest will be done through the CLI. It's very long. I don't know why this is takes so long. This is the demo effect. Do I have a Kino? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so go in this one. So this is a standard composer creates projects and October in the current folder. See what happens here, if it works. Yeah. Okay. You see, it takes not the last version actually, the one for yesterday. And by the way, when you install it, first of all, you just receive the base bundle, the base package. You cannot use it yet. You have to authenticate. And as you see, I didn't authenticate yet. So I have to go now back to the marketplace. And I created a project. I called it Kino Meetup, where I would find the plugins, the themes I attached to this project. And here is a license number. So I will grab this. And now this is installed. We will launch the installation. Install. And then, okay, language, localhost, no. We will say this is a Kino test, for example. The backend, okay. As you know, we always should change this for security reasons. MySQL is fine. Host, okay. Port 2, database is Kino, if it exists, I don't know. Because I didn't receive a prompt for the Laravel. Let's see. Root is okay. Database, okay. And yeah, we will install the demo, and here we will put the key. And now it installs the dependencies, actually, where we can use all the full features of this product. Takes a little time. Questions during that time? No?
Can you install it without the license key for testing purposes?
No. You can use a Docker image if you have no license, actually. Okay. I think it's dumb. It's not the best way, but you can go very far with the Docker solution too. And if you've succeeded and you see it's okay, so you buy a license. Yes. So okay, now we have this. We will launch this command, artisan October migrate. And this will read all the, and it migrates, yes, this is fine. And by the way, if we launch here a database manager, I will show what comes here. Well, we have a Kino database here with some database with tables. This is fine. I'm glad. And the second challenge, we should now see a front end. We should. Let's try it. So we said Kino test. Yes. Ah.
Nice.
You say this is the October default demo. And nothing real special here, but what is interesting now, we will dive in the backend. We'll really quickly here create a user, an admin. Okay. And you retrieve the same backend as before on the Digital Artisan website. And again, we found here the CMS front-end pages. And what we will do now, I will maybe just a little bit make this bigger here. Backend settings, you will see, we will use this one here, Zurich maybe. And the code editor, now I should have saved it now, maybe this bigger so you can read it. So, first of all, we will say we will use a new theme, a blank theme. So we will go to Frontend theme and create a new blank theme. And by the way, I will load, yes, this is, can you read it? Is it big enough? This is the typical October CMS directory structure, app, as I said, the bootstrap, config files, and so on, and the famous plugins and the themes. You see I have now one theme and one plugin. And the rest is, as I said, the standard. So go back here, and we will create a theme, call it Kino, for example. My name here, and a code, a name, like a namespace. And this will just create here a blank theme. I will activate it, and if I go again on the front end, if I refresh, I have a 404. This is normal because I have no file in the to respond to the query. If I show you this here, I go to the editor. You remember earlier I had files here. Don't pay attention to this. This is Taylor. This is the demo. But these are my files here. Pages is empty, partials is empty, and so on. So if we look into this one here, I will just close this so I don't use it. If I look now here, you see I have a new folder, assets, content, layouts, pages. Everything is empty except this YAML file with my information. So maybe what we will do, we will grab here first of all, I'll just make a new page, maybe a welcome page. So we will create here a new page, and we will call it welcome page. And I will say this responds to this URL, the root. So do we say like that, root?
Yeah.
Yes. And the settings, I won't call it welcome page.html, but just index maybe. I could take here, put here some, this is, maybe welcome page. This is Laravel Kino welcome page, okay? You know the Laravel Kino here in Bern, don't you? And let's see what happens here on the back end. Yeah, we have a file, and this is just code. This is not HTML. You see there's equal signs, and the cool part starts here. So if I say, for example, here, I save this, and by the way, I'll just close this because it doesn't refresh. If I go here, okay, that's easy, but too easy maybe. So we will just grab this code here. This is a Tailwind, and we put this here. No. Here, and the hello world, we will replace this here. So is this correct for you? That's basic, I know, for you, but for me it's very So let's see what happens here on the front end again. Yeah, you see this is now Tailwind, but of course we won't each time put the doc, the HTML, you know where it goes, so we put this in a layout file, of course. So let's create quickly the layout, a default layout maybe. Default layout file. My default layout file, and again I just save, and I prefer using the Sublime text. So now we will take this, grab this, we will put this in the layout file, we'll put this here, and I will put this back to the page here. And there is one thing I need to do here. I need to say now this page here, the index page, uses the specific default layout, okay? So if I go back here, I say welcome page now, settings, I use now layout, default, and if everything goes fine, it doesn't change because no. Why not?
You need to put some sort of slot in the
Slot,
in the layout.
In the layout, yeah.
In the layouts.
Presumably you have to tell it where to put the...
Yeah,
page.
of course. Excellent. You follow. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Senior engineer.
Does it work better now? Yes. Thank you, Ed. So, of course, we can move this in another place. We could use, for example, in partial, we will create a new folder, or no, direct put it in a partial file, meta file, for example. Put this here. I will call it meta.html and now htm, sorry. And here in the layout we use a partial, which is called meta. Shouldn't break the code. Let's see. It works. Nice. Okay. So you see this is much cleaner. And the next step we will do, just take the famous HTML code here for Tailwind UI. And I'll copy this here now. I will say, okay, this comes in the default, and the body section. And this, again, here comes the page. This is Twig, by the way, okay? You have recognized it. And I have to change, I guess, some things here for the HTML tag. Opening tag, change the body class, okay. Body element, sorry. And we can delete this. Okay, let's see what happens. Nice, okay. Nothing really special, but you see how you managed actually the front-end themes. This is quite the same with the views in Laravel, but it's you have a nice backend to this. Okay, but this is not really interesting. Okay, it's quite, I'm sure, boring for you. And what we will do now is we will create a plugin. Okay, or are you tired? Should I stop?
No.
Do I continue?
Go on.
I continue. Okay, so to make this work, I could create everything with the CLI, but as I said, I prefer to use the builder module plugin. So I will install it first because it's not installed yet. Install a package. I will look for the builder. Right, I see it. It's here. And I will install it. And it should come in the plugin folder. It takes some time to come. And what we will just create the elements to create, we create two tables actually, the movie tables and a genres table, action, romance, biopip, and we will watch how this works, how we create the menu, the controls, the models. Huh? So you see now we have the builder in the file structure, and we have here a new element in the menu. This is now the kind of big helper. This is a package that helps. We'll create a plugin, Kino, as I said, Digart maybe, Kino, plugin namespace, description, and here we can just put a nice icon, SVG icon, maybe, I don't know, I haven't checked. We should. So, okay, what happens next is you see now I have a plugin, a Digart folder, Kino, and I get these folders, files quickly walk through them. We have, this is the plugin YAML file, the configuration file, flat file system. And you recognize this is translated. So I have here a language folder, and I could easily, very easy, change the language. This is multi-language capabilities. We have an important file. This is plugin PHP file, where you put everything that should boot in your plugin, or register components, consoles, maybe where you extend other plugins, where you interact with the other things. You see there is some methods already present. The update is a very important folder. That's where the migrations come, because each plugin has its own migration place. This is in this one. And I said here language and classes. Okay, nothing very special for the man, not very interesting. So now we will create the first, we're in the database section, we will create a first database, and we will call it movies, okay? We take an ID maybe, another column is the name, this is a string, description maybe, this is text, it's nullable, maybe a synopsis. You know what's a synopsis in the cinema? This is the, how can you explain this, Ed?
Synopsis, it's basically a summary.
Summary from the movie, okay, yes. And we have a teaser film text. This is also, we have maybe the directors. I make it simple, just make string here. It shouldn't be string, it should be a relationship, of course. I have genre ID, integer, and what else? The year, maybe, of the movie, small integer, maybe. Something else? Okay. And I add the timestamps, soft deletes. This is automatically added here. And now I save this, and October, the builder, he makes me a proposal. Okay, use this. This is your data, and this should be translated like that. We accept it, and by the way, you see this is version 1.02. Each time I make a migration or a modification, you get a new number. I will apply it, and if I go back to the database here, you see I have now a movie database, and I have here all the fields. Okay, very easy. So I want to show you the versions. With this migrations here, I got, this is the initial plugin version, nothing here, but this is my migration, where you can change things, and if you want to change things, you have to roll back the version. If I click roll back, everything is deleted. Okay, of course, you know, your client shouldn't do that because everything is away. Because we have an up function and a down function, schema drop, if exists, it drops the table. This can be very annoying maybe for the client if he loses his data. So you shouldn't do that. But for us, it's fine. When you develop, you can change something, you can add. And I apply again. And by the way, if I say, oh, I forgot something to do, I have maybe here, this is not teasers, let's say teaser short maybe, short, and I save it, and now I receive a new version which just changes the name, and the down, it puts it back to the teaser name, not teaser short. You understand? I will apply it maybe so you understand this. So now in the versions here, if I yes, you see this is a created migration, this is an updated on the table, rename column or rename column teaser shorts, and of course if I again, now I have to adapt to this here, Kino movies, teaser short, okay? And no, I said this is stupid what I made, so I will delete this. But first of all, I will roll back, and I will delete this migration. Let's leave it. And you see here in the folder, we retrieve now, we found the migration. So it's very easy to do. So we continue. We have to create a model, of course. So we will create a model which is called movie. Table is movies, it's the only one. I use a timestamp support and the soft deletes. You know the soft deletes, okay, this is standard. October, the builder creates a new folder, and the movie, you see I have a standard Laravel class with, it extends the model. I have threads here for the validation, soft deletes. This is, you know this is just standard Laravel. And, but this is cool because you can add a form. So let's add a form. For example, I will be very quick, so I'll use a name, description, synopsis, the directors, the year, and yeah, okay, take this. And if I want to add another one, you just click here, add control, and you see you have lots of elements, emails, text areas, drop down, checklist, checkbox, data tables, file uploads, markdown, and so on and so on. Lots of things. Very cool thing. And I will just put this here, for example, a tab which is say informations. I will move. I don't know if I can because my screen is very small. So description will be here, and the teaser. Make some room here maybe, and save this. And we have to create a list. So we'll just use the name, movie name, it's a type. We can search through it and sort, and maybe the created at field. Sorry. This is date and time. Okay. So nothing very interesting till now. If I show you the results, I get now a folder which is called movie. We have the fields. This is a YAML structured. The fields that we retrieve the different attributes, the fields of the database, and what type is it. You can we have lots of information about these things. You cannot do everything on the builder. Maybe often you have to go back to the editor. But as you say, as for a standard thing, it's very, very useful. We will create permission here. We will add a permission. I use my namespace, my name, digat, the project, and the code, the section. This is the movie. We'll create here Kino Rex, for example. The label is manage the movies. You will understand what this does. And by the way, I retrieve this information again here in the plugin. Permissions, digat movie, Kino, manage the movies. But we continue. Now we have to create a menu for this information, okay? So let's create a main menu, the same as the content, for example, menu. So I will call it my Kino, for example. This is just, no, sorry, the code is Kino, for example. And the label is my Kino. URL, we don't have any URL because we need a controller to create a URL, because you will see why. And the icon will just make a play. So, and the permissions, maybe we won't be very explicit, just say digat Kino and use a wildcard, so everybody can access, everybody who has access to digat Kino can access it. We create the first real element now. We have the coordinates of the movies, maybe. Movies, the icon, take a film. And here, no. Here, permissions. Now we will take the permission we created earlier. So, save this. And if I refresh this here now, I should say my Kino and movies. But okay, nothing happens yet because I have to create my controller. So let's do this quickly. We will go to the controller. We will create a movies controller. What model do we use? The movie controller. The menu, it goes here. The prepared earlier menu, and we use form controller behavior and list controller behavior. And what permission? This is manage the movies. Okay, and here you can fine-tune, you can change the elements, for example, the text, the redirect for the different actions, record, update, preview, the message, flash message. And what I change just here is maybe here the default sorting I use for the list. I use the name, and this is ascending. Okay, I guess that's enough. I go back now to menu and movies. Now you see here I have an URL. I can link to this URL. By the way, I want the main menu also use this movies menu. And if I click here, no, where it is, movie. Now you see we have movies here, and we have the datas. So let's create quickly something. Top Gun, for example. I don't know. And you can use Control Enter. It saves it and closes automatically. You don't have to use the mouse, or Control S just to save. And yeah, of course, now we have to make some things. Maybe we can just quickly enhance this. We can say now the name, for example, is required. And now you get automatically that red dot, which means if you forget to enter something, it squawks. Okay, this is Top Gun. Okay, good. Continue.
Yeah.
Should I stop?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so I will create now the generous database, maybe a little bit quicker. So generous, just make two fields, name, the string, and the description. This is standard text here. And I could also make a sort order field. Yes. Now model, I create a model here, a genre model. We use generous table. Soft deletes again. We design quickly the layout here. Just this one here, name descriptions. Okay, I save. Okay, can you follow?
Mm-hmm.
The list, just take the name, for example, genre, title, text, and search. Okay. So the permission now, Kino, generous. Yeah, I should make it plural, but okay. Kino Rex, manage the movie generous. Save it, and now the next step is the backend menu. We'll add it here. The code will be generous or movie generous. And tags maybe, if this works. Yes, tags. Permissions, I guess you have understand how it, the system, how it works. Genre permission, this is done. Next element, we go to the controller, create genre controller. Generous, sorry. We take the generous model, we put it in the movie generous menu, and the behavior, no, sorry, permission is this one here. The behaviors is the form controller. You use the form and the list controller. And here, just to be sure that the default sorting works correctly. And ascending. So, okay, go back to the backend menu, and now we link to this new URL to the controller for the generous. And see what happens if it's work. Yeah, it works. So nice. But of course, action film, movies, drama, this would be nice if we put this in a seeder. So we have this, we will create one here, a seeder, like a migration. I will use the Kino models. genre model, and we will now use the genre. Thank you. Genre create can make this like that. I don't know what comes here. The name. No, this is something wrong here.
I think the field was called name.
Correct? So,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Action movie, for example. So, no, I don't know.
It's good. That's fine.
Fine, okay.
It will work.
Indent is not correct, but okay, this is romantic. What else? Biopic, maybe? Biopic. Save this, and I have to indicate pseudonym, movie genres, for example. So, save. I have unsaved version, yes. And now I will apply this, and I should have now these seeds that comes. This is very useful. So of course, it's also useful maybe to start with a truncate, because you want to be sure that everything goes away. There's no rollback method here. So this is the basic. And if I have time, do I have time? Maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Sure.
Ruslan?
Sure, yeah.
Yes. We will just create a component. A component is what links between the plugins and the team. So for that, I will use the CLI, PHP artisan, create a component in the namespace in the plugin Kino, and I will call it movies list, for example. And what this will do now, if we watch here again the folder, I have now a movies list class and a movies folder with the default HTML text, and this is where I put my stuff, my layout stuff actually. And you notice this is in the plugins area, and this is not related to the team. It's portable, kind of portable. So let's make it very easy. I could make, this is again here description, I also could make filters, for example, here, but I will just here create a method. Let's say index. And what will this do? We will just return the movie all. Not a good practice, I know, but I'll just watch if I can import this. Yes, this is good. And I have the component. Now I have to register this component in my plugin system. So we use now the plugin file. I said to you earlier, this is a very important file. So let's register it. We return and we now make the link to the digarts, Kino components to the movies list, and we will call it simply movies list on the front end elements. Is this correct for you? The code is correct? Looks correct. Okay. Let's see if it breaks something. No, it still works. Okay. So if I go, for example, on the editor and on the welcome page here, maybe, if I'm lucky, I have now, you see, an element, a new element, a component. And by the way, you see there's other components here from the core. you could yeah, integrate this. Though I just take this here and I put it here, and because I want it on the front end at this place, and you see the movies list name. This is the short name I gave earlier, and I'll click on the movies list component, and here I could make a lot of filters, conditions that the client or someone who doesn't program actually just can, with the drop down, change maybe the categories, or is it soft deletes or not, and so on. So if I save this, maybe again I should see this text. This text here comes from this default, no, is it here? From this one, yes. So we will delete this here, and we will see if now, you remember I created a method, an index method of the movies, all the movies. Oh yeah, I have one movie, I suppose now. So here I will just say self, because we are in the component, so we don't use another word, and we use the index. See what's happened here on the front end?
Close.
No, because this is not, yeah, okay, you get it. This is not if or so, this is just text with twig.
It's not twig.
Yeah. So, you see now I have now the old, this is a collection, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe a collection, yeah. So if we want to cycle through it for a movie in self, no. For example, I will make a list here. Tired. And let's say we will use the movie name, for example, for the movie, okay? And we will close this here, and for. You correct me if I'm wrong. And end this, so, okay? See what happens. I will suppress this. Oh, voila. Yeah, Top Gun, yes. And why don't we try just one last thing, maybe to add an image. I don't know the code for the image, but we try. So we use the movie. We use, yes, attach something maybe. This is interesting. So we'll try to attach a file attachment here. You see the documentation says you just can attach one or attach many. Equal, it's an image or document, whatever you want. And then we say, is it public? Yes or no? Is this file on the front end? So I will take this one here, for example, and this will be put in the movie model here. Let's say here. We don't want to call it avatar, but just a poster maybe. And public true, because we want to be accessible. And I will create another one, another property here, attach many, where I can say, okay, I will call this documents, for example. And yeah. So we go back here on the front end, on the builder, on the model, movie forms. We'll create here a new tag. Media, no. Media folder, media tab. And here I just say now a new file upload. This is it. I will call it poster. Movie poster, and the type is an image, okay? This is not a file, it's an image. And by the way, I just create here another one. File upload, again, documents. various documents here, and this is a file. I don't change it. See what happens here in the backend. And yeah, he now, I don't know, yeah, take this for example here, and many other documents, for example. It could be, I don't know, images or whatever you want, and you can change the order here. This is very easy, and really the last thing I promise here, now just the relationships here in Laravel, there are methods, correct, for the later. Here there are properties, so I create a belongs to, and I will create, no, two big fingers, a genre relationship, and I will just say this is the class. This uses the genre class, correct? And now it's Quox because I have forgotten this. Okay, so I have a genre. This is okay. And if I go back here to the builder, I will add here. Where am I here? I will add just a relation here. Widget. If you see it, you say stop.
Stop.
Relation. Thank you. And we will just use now the genre word name. Movie genre, and you see the relation here. It uses, this is standard, the name and the description. That's why I use these names too. And let's see if it works now. Where is my kaput? So if I go back here to Top Gun here, and you see now I have this one here, very easy. And I also could adapt now the columns. I just add here a new genre ID, movie genre. I say it's text. You can search. The select is of course the name, and the relationship is the genre. And again, if we save this here, now you see I have the romantic movie. And now that we have something very nice, where is this is here the default. We'll try to put now a movie. What did we have the name? It was a poster, correct? Poster, thumb, say size 200 maybe. Auto maybe. And see the front end, what happens. Yes, you see? So just now put this in a image, source. Et voilà. Okay? Thank you. So quickly go back to my, if I retrieve now my PowerPoint file, it's here. Go back, no. So, questions? Sorry. It was a little bit long, I'm sorry, because lots of things. And as I said, if you want to test it, you can use Docker. You go on October CMS. Why Twig and not Blade? I asked to Alexei Bobkov, the founder, and he says because it's more user-friendly, more secure. This is their opinion.
But you can ask the same thing for Statamic. They're using Atlas, so they're not using Blade as well. So.
Yeah, I would have used Blade because Blade is more standard for Laravel, but I like using Twig. What about Laravel 10? They made new major release each 2 years. So the next main release will come next year. So, and they will make, it will be compliant with, it will be shipped with Laravel 11 actually, not 10. But you can use Laravel 10, just you target the next version on GitHub, yeah. So, as I said, if you have questions, you can go